Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the new Pope. We have a new Pope, and it is Pope Leo, which is very appropriately named because what we're going to find out, he has a ton of Leo in his chart. I thought that was astounding. As a matter of fact, he has both the moon and the sun in Leo. And yes, I am a Vedic sidereal astrologer, so these are the true placements of the planets. This is different than the more common Western tropical placements, but this is the true placements. And it's astounding because the nakshatras that I talk about so much in Vedic astrology pertain so much to the stars. And he has planets so lined up with the fixed star Regulus, which is the star of kings and leaders. And of course, that is in the sign of Leo. So before I get going, I'm going to show you his chart. We're going to go over who he is, what I can tell. And before I do so, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org. And while you're there at my website, check out my Patreon page, because my Patreon is your opportunity to join a spiritual community of like-minded people. We meet weekly live, so check that out. The other thing I want to remind everyone of is my galactic planner. Oh my goodness, it is amazing. The planner has so much going on in it. You can calculate your own birth chart and get all of your predictions delivered to your calendar and your phone or your computer and be guided by the stars every day. Check that out, galacticplanner.com. And one last thing, if you want to learn Vedic astrology, you got to check out my school. I have an online university for certification. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Now let's get going. I want to talk about the new Pope, Pope Leo, which I absolutely love the name. Let me get over here and let's put up his chart. Now we don't have his time of birth, so I just put in 12 noon. But looking at that, we can definitely see that his moon is in Leo, because the moon is in Leo the entire day. And the moon moves approximately 1 degree every 2.5 hours. So we're certain that at 12 noon, midday, the moon sits at 8 degrees of Leo, which means on either side that whole day, it has to be in Leo. And the reason why I'm focusing in on the moon is because we make the moon the ascendant when we don't have a birth time. And even when we do have a birth time, we always look at the chart from the moon being the first house where the ascendant is. So we can tell so much about an individual from, we call it Chandra Lagna. Chandra means moon, Lagna means ascendant in the sidereal chart. So looking at this chart, you know, he was born September 1955, which was an incredible time to be born. Because I've noted this time, because being born in 1955 myself, I realize that this is the time period where you have so many exalted planets. This is like primo time to be born. He has Jupiter exalted in Cancer, and he has Saturn exalted in Libra. These are like the primo planets to have exalted. What's exaltation? There's only one sign that a planet can be exalted in. And it is actually said to be the very best and most powerful sign that these planets can be in. Brings out their best qualities. Jupiter being in Cancer, Cancer's all about philosophy. Jupiter in Cancer, it empowers what Jupiter's all about. Jupiter is the teacher. Jupiter is spiritual. Jupiter is abundance and wealth and opportunities. In Cancer, it truly spiritualizes it all the more. This is like phenomenal. And then going to his Saturn is exalted. I always say if there's one planet you want to empower in a chart, it better be Saturn, because you want to have Saturn your friend rather than your enemy. And you know, his Saturn is in Libra, which is the most adaptable sign to be in the public eye and to really connect to people. Libra's about relationships. Saturn there means you care about others. Okay, so furthermore, he has an exalted Mercury. Mercury in Virgo. And when you have these planets strong like this, it's like what that planetary energy is about is exaggerated or exemplified in their life and in their chart. So Mercury is the planet of intelligence and communications. And it happens so to be in his second house from the moon. The second house deals with speech. It deals with family, deals with money and resources. Mercury in the second house of speech. He speaks 3 languages and probably more, but from the day that he became Pope, and by the way, I don't think I mentioned that he is American. This is the first American Pope. But he speaks all these languages so eloquently. He was speaking Italian, and I didn't know he was American. And he spoke perfect Spanish. He spent a lot of time in South America, in Peru. Lots of time he worked there. He has a talent for language with Mercury exalted in Virgo, planet of communications, in the second house of speech. People that have this pick up languages very, very easily, but not only about language, he is extraordinarily smart. So, you know, you want a person in this position that has the ability to understand things. And I think he got a degree in mathematics. I read that. So, I mean, this is somebody who can rationalize and understand concepts and really work with people. And an exalted Saturn means he's good with relationships, so he wants to understand people, and he comes from a high degree of intelligence. This is remarkable. Plus, he can speak languages beautifully. That really helps connect with people all around the world. Now, Venus is there with his Mercury in the second house, and Venus is debilitated in Virgo, which actually can deal with relationships. Debilitations mean there's a weakness to that planet. But I'll tell you something. In Vedic astrology, there is a rule that when a planet is debilitated, but it's next to, in the same sign, an exalted planet, means the debilitation is minimized, if not canceled. I'm under the idea, though, that there's no such thing as a complete cancellation. So it means over time you overcome it. You become strong. So Venus and Mercury in the second house will bring prosperity and wealth. And he will be taken care of his whole life. because of this conjunction in the second house, Venus and Mercury. Now let's go to where I want to go the most, and that is where all his planets reside, in the sign of Leo. He has Moon, Mars, and Sun, all in the sign of Leo. And Leo is the leader, Leo is the king, and making this the first house. He was born actually on the day before the new moon. And actually we call this a Baslamic moon in Western astrology. But it is where the moon is dark. And I find that people that have this are very, very introspective. And they're very good at psychology, analysis, human behavior. This is what he really looks deeply into, introspection, into probably human behavior. What makes us do what we do? Why are we here? This is a deep place. So the moon being with Mars and the sun, well, Moon Mars actually is what we call a Chandra Mangala Yoga. And a Chandra Mangala Yoga means business success, means a really strong emotional character. And being in Leo is the best for leadership. And the sun is in its own sign of rulership, being in Leo. So he has Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn, all in their exaltation sign. But the sun is in its sign of rulership that's just about as strong as an exaltation. And this is with the moon, all powerful. He was born to be a leader. And that is what he is. So this is a powerful chart. Going over here to Saturn being in his third house, this gives him discipline and focus in the area of writing, communications, teaching. That is what he does. Every day he conducts a service. He teaches. He's got a message, a powerful, strong message giving guidance. Exalted Saturn in the third house. Probably it doesn't make him too close to his brothers and sisters if he has any, with Saturn being in the third. But one way or another, you know, when he became part of the priest, the brotherhood, he probably had to leave family, and this is where he wasn't so connected to his family anymore. Now, Rahu being in the fourth house, that's another indication that there's a split with the family. And another thing is Rahu in the fourth house generally means someone that will move a lot, change their residence a lot. He's lived all over the world with Rahu in the fourth. And probably with Rahu in the fourth house, his mother wasn't probably too keen about him going into the priesthood, because probably all mothers want their children to be close to them, and at least I'm speaking for myself, to be close to them, and you want them to have a life where you're going to have grandchildren. You know, the priesthood is not probably the favorite career for most mothers. Maybe his mother was more accepting of it, but with Rahu there, I think not. Now he has Ketu in the 10th house, and that represents an unusual career that brings great change in his life. And Ketu, don't forget, does deal with spirituality. It does deal with things beyond this world. And that is basically what his career is all about. Finding God, helping others connect to God. This is basically what the Pope or priest are here to do, to help us connect to our inner guidance of the divine. And really, this is what all religion is supposed to do, but in In essence, it is to connect to our spirit, to find that divinity, to find God, and to make that the most important thing. And that's what a priest is meant to do. Mars being there with the sun, let me tell you a little bit about that. That's power. In Leo, leadership, power, but all at the same time. He does have a little bit of anger. So he's got a temper. Get him mad enough and he's going to voice his opinions extremely strong. So that's another thing. And just going into looking at this, he is a very spiritual man, needless to say. With Jupiter being in his 12th house, the 12th house is the house of, one of the houses of deep spirituality, of giving to charitable causes, helping others. This is Jupiter in the 12th house. Plus, it's connecting to foreign lands and countries, which he has. So this is deeply, deeply spiritual. This is the kind of person that you want as a pope. I think looking at his chart, he is going to make an excellent pope. I think Pope Francis had something to do with this because the popes before them pretty much have an idea, and I'm sure that he probably voiced some opinion in the direction of Pope Leo. I love saying Leo because it's so perfect for his chart. It's so funny to have all those Leo planets and to be such a leader that he is. And he's got a big mission ahead for him. And he's a very, I'm going to say it, he's a very wise man. And I think he's perfect for the job. I like this chart, and let me just go forward with a lot of the things that are coming forth for him. So during the time that he was elected as Pope, fascinating to me, transiting Jupiter was exactly on his K2 in the 10th house. What is the 10th house? Your reputation, your social standing, the public, the world. Transiting Jupiter on the day that he was elected Pope was 28 degrees of Taurus. I mean, look at his K2 in the 10th house, 28 degrees of Taurus. Jupiter K2 brought him into this position. Jupiter is the planet of opportunities, expansion, truth and spirituality. It hit his K2. This only happens once every 12 years. This is a rare aspect. It hit dead on. If I had all of the cardinals that had their charts that were up for the Pope, which I didn't know any of them, I would have said, this is the man they're probably going to choose because transiting Jupiter will be hitting his K2. When I say transits, that's where the planets are in the heavens. As they move from sign to sign and degree to degree, when they conjunct any planets in your chart, it's going to represent something huge is going to happen in your life. And this is what happened to him. And actually, to put a little plug in for my galactic planner, which you can have your own chart, you can see where Jupiter is transiting in your own chart from my planner. You would know that this brings something huge by it being in the 10th house. Amazing. Astrology, even though I've been doing it my whole life, never ceases to amaze me. So looking ahead too, when I look at where Jupiter is moving in his chart, it's going to go into his 8th house by May 14th. And it will be pretty much there till around June of 2026. Now, I know that there's a portion of time that Jupiter will transit into Cancer and then go back into Gemini. So it's basically going to be in Gemini for a year, except for around the end of October to the beginning of December. It'll touch foot in Cancer, but go back to Gemini. It's going to be in his 11th house. Yes, the 11th house is the house of great gains, groups of people, organizations, friends, humanity. And this is his job, to affect humanity. Yes, this is his job, and this is what he will do while Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. And this, he will teach, he will make a difference, he will make connections to extraordinary people in the world. He already has, but this is where he is going to be working with those in power. And then by the time Jupiter does transit into the sign of Cancer, which will be 2026 to 2027, he will do great things for charitable funds, organizations, for people that need help. Because then it will be in his 12th house and he will have a Jupiter return. And he'll spend more time in foreign countries during that time period, 2026 to 2027. And then going into 2027 and 8, when Jupiter goes into Leo, he will make the biggest difference in the world and in the church, because Jupiter will cross over his Leo planets, which is all powerful. But I must go back to what's going to be happening this year. And looking at the months of June and July, when Mars goes into Leo and K2 goes over his sun, this is going to be a time of great loss. And like I've been saying, I think there is something big that will be happening June and July. K2 will be on his sun. And if there is great loss in the world, trust me, the Pope will be involved with helping those in need, those that have lost family. I think there's going to be some kind of attacks in the world. There's going to be war, and this really bothers him. And as transiting Mars comes up and hits his sun, this will be more into the month of July. It's going to make him very angry that the world is so difficult and violent. So I am seeing some difficulty in the world. It is reflected in the Pope's chart for the months of June and July. So it could affect him personally too, his health, because the sun is our physical constitution. And let me just say, this job that he's taking on is all-consuming. You don't get a day off. Can you imagine never, ever having a day off? Well, I can imagine that because I'm kind of like that as well. But this is a serious time in the world. Things are changing radically. The Pope will have to change radically his views on the world as well. You know, you can't apply the laws from 2,000 years ago to current times. You've got to be more adaptable. And I think with the message and the knowledge and the exaltation that this particular Pope has, he will make a great difference, not only in people's lives, but also in the world. And that is the job of the Pope. So I want to say, I am thrilled to see this chart. That's such an amazing, powerful, intelligent, spiritual man has come into this position. And I know with a chart like his, he will make a difference in the world. And I know that that is his intention. So that's my reading for the new Pope, Pope Leo. I hope you've enjoyed this talk. And I want to say again, remember, if you want to sign up for my free newsletter, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. Check out everything in and on my website. I have a lot going on, places I'm going to be, and even about the planner. And I want you to go there and check out all the opportunities that are available to you in my world of astrology. Thank you.